Now, I might not be incredibly good at this game, but what I am good at is research. Okay, now admittedly, I'm not great at that either. Despite that, I've used my minimal investigation skills to find out what class is the best and what weapon would be the best for the first few bosses in the game. This is what I came up with. So after about 10 minutes of minimal research, looking into stats etc, my final verdict was the Vagabond and the Lordsworn Greatsword. This was the class and the weapon I would be using. Without further ado, I think it's about time we go into the run. I started out by making a respectable character, and then I jumped off a cliff. I awoke in a deep, wet cave, so I decided to jump down another hole. I ran as fast as I could to get to the first boss, the Soldier of Godric. If you've played the tutorial of this game, then you know that this boss is a piss easy cakewalk. Feeling confident, I picked up the strength emote and bursted through the front doors ready for the next boss. I ascended the lift and reached the front area of Limgrave. With one sad excuse for a boss in my pocket, I was ready to take on the other four. I eagerly approached the Groveside cave for my next fight. This time I'd be facing the Beastman of Ashula. While nothing groundbreaking, this boss was certainly more difficult than the Soldier of Godric, and I needed to prepare before I went into the fight. I had a plan. I knew the boss had a relatively small health bar. I would poke the boss with my Ash of War, which was square off with the long sword. I would guard counter whenever I could, and I would hit riposte attacks as soon as possible. While not as easy as the Soldier of Godric, the Beastman posed a bit more of a threat, but I managed to kill it relatively quickly. It probably took about 2 to 3 minutes, which isn't too much time, and was overall definitely one of the easier fights in this round. It shaved a bit more time off than the Soldier of Godric. It wasn't a measly 14 seconds like the first boss, but overall it was definitely not much of a challenge. Next up, I met Melinda at one of the Sites of Grace. This unlocked leveling up and also allowed me to use Torrent. Torrent would be helpful in this run because it'd allow me to move faster between each boss from this point onward. This would overall just increase the speed of the run, and I'm trying to maximize that. Next up was the Urgery Burial Watchdog. The Burial Watchdog was certainly more difficult than both the bosses that we fought so far, but hopefully with enough experience, I fought this boss a few times, I'd be able to beat it kind of easily. Unfortunately, this was my first death in this run, but I was kind of expecting that to happen. I was playing a bit dumb and I didn't actually have enough flasks. I went into this fight down on flasks a few just because of the dungeon before it. However, I went in again and managed to kill the boss. I genuinely think the dungeon just before the actual boss is more difficult than the boss itself. It's so trippy and you get jump scared a lot. You also have to wait for a firewall. This firewall can pretty much instantly kill you if you're not careful, so it slowed me down quite a bit. Next up was the Grave Warden Duelist. This was another very easy fight and I had a perfect tactic for it. This is why I chose to use the Lordsworn Greatsword. I could use the Ash of War to completely stunlock him until he got staggered, and then I'd hit a riposte attack. This worked perfectly and I managed to kill this boss quicker than anything but the Soldier of Godric. Next up was the Tree Sentinel. Now if you've played the first 5 minutes of this game, then you will know this guy well. This was the scariest fight out of the 5 bosses. However, I managed to beat him on my first try, which was actually quite surprising. Using a runaway tactic with Torrent, I managed to kite the Tree Sentinel pretty well and just get a bunch of poke attacks in. Eventually I brought his health bar down to 0, and that was the end of the run. I finished the run with about 20 minutes and 20 seconds. I think that's pretty good. I could do much better. I was aiming for under half an hour and I did achieve it by 10 minutes. It sucks that I didn't get sub 20 minutes, but I definitely could have done it on a more perfect run. If you guys want to challenge this, send me a link to the video that you post anywhere. Doesn't have to be posted anywhere, just send me a link to a video file of you doing this and it'll be interesting to see how fast you guys can do it. But with that being said, I hope you did enjoy this video. It took me a while to make, so I would appreciate a like. But overall, the challenge was pretty fun and editing the video was fun as well. If you guys do decide to take part in the competition, the fastest time, I'll actually be awarding a gift card of any platform of your choice, whether it's Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, just drop me one of your social media accounts and I'll DM the code to you. Won't be much, probably like £15-20. I don't know what that converts to. It'll have to be British pounds though, no dollars. I am not American. But yeah, so if you guys did enjoy the video, then like I said, drop a like, leave your submissions in my Twitter DMs is probably the best place. I'll check them the most often. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video.